As you may or may not be aware, the Classmate is not going to be the only hardware difference next year. They are. First is releasing us new Jaguars, and this is a picture of one of them that was posted up on the first forums. And so, apart from being a different color, the new Jaguars have some functionality difference with this left net port here. And it allows us to access some of the more advanced features of the Jaguar, which are, we can use CAN to provide feedback of what the Jaguar is doing, and we can update the firmware on it. These are really true of both the 2009 and the 2010 Jaguars, but up till now we haven't been able to access them because the new Jaguars have a special ability on that left net port. It can dual function as an RS-232 serial port. And so what this allows us to do is to access what's called a CAN, and that's a controller area network. It's a communications protocol that's similar to a LAN that you would use to hook computers together. The implementation we're using uses RJ12 cables, and it allows communication between a host, which in this case would be a serial computer, and devices, which would be our Jaguars. And this is a diagram of how you would set up the CAN of the robot, or how it looks like CAN is going to be implemented. And so we have one black Jaguar here that's functioning as an interface unit. That's this one here. And it uses a special cable that has a serial connection on one end and an RJ12 connector on the other end. And the beta teams had to make their own ones of these, and I'm guessing that the other teams will probably have to as well. And all the other Jaguars are daisy-chained to this initial connector. Jaguar with standard RJ12 cables, and this allows you to access any of the Jaguars on the network. And at the end, you need what's called a terminator plug, which is a connector with a resistor across 2 pins. Right, in terms of software, right now, one of the things that some of the beta teams receive, I should have mentioned this already, but only some of the beta teams receive the new Jaguars. We were not one of these teams that was selected, unfortunately. So we don't actually have the Jaguars, but I've seen all the documentation regarding them, so yeah. Anyway, there's an application that was given to the beta teams that runs on the PC, and its main purpose is to update the firmware of any of the Jaguars. You can also access data about the Jaguars to the PC. And currently in development is a driver for the Serial that lets you use the serial port on the Serial to connect to the Jaguars. And you can read data back, send data to the Jaguars. And the way that it looks like right now this is going to be implemented is it's not going to be a standard part of the code libraries that you get at kickoff. Instead, it's going to be a file that's going to be posted up somewhere on the internet that you'll be able to download and use if you choose to. And just a disclaimer, this is all in the very early stages of development, so I'm just giving you what the plan looks like now, but no guarantees on this stuff. So the things that you can use the new Jaguars to do is, the Jaguar is really a very powerful motor controller, but because we're using the PWM signal, we haven't been able to utilize that. But with CAN, we can implement, currently the drivers only implement voltage control, which is you give the motor that you're controlling a voltage, and the Jaguar will take care of that, making sure it stays at that voltage. However, in the future, we could look at implementing speed control if the driver winds up supporting it, and that would be you plug an encoder into the Jaguar controller that's attached to your shaft, and that would allow you to set a specific speed for the motor to go at. And in the current software implementation, we can receive all kinds of data about the Jaguar, current, voltage, temperature information. And if you plug in some peripherals, there's a number of extra plugs on the Jaguar. You can receive information about limit switches and an encoder, and the Jaguar automatically does calculations for speed and position. And so that's kind of useful because it'll free up some GPIO pins on the digital sidecar. And if you you want more information, the first forums, under FRC, there's a section all about 2010 beta testing. And the hardware section, there's been a lot of discussion about the new Jaguars. You can talk to some of the teams who actually have these and are using them.